mean, that is perhaps the most remarkable part of what happened. So as I was following the events in Hoosic Falls, tens of millions of Americans began learning their drinking water was contaminated with PFAS, partially as a result of what happened in Hoosic Falls. Farmers started learning their land was polluted from sewage sludge that had been spread over the fields as fertilizer. And as this happened, variations of what was happening in Hoosic Falls began happening all over the country. So you had these unlikely activists, firefighters, factory workers, farmers, suburban moms, starting to fight for restrictions on PFAS and also fighting to hold polluters accountable. And they made some remarkable headway. So I think one really dramatic example of an individual who had an impact is Amara Strande. So Minnesota, in 2022, Minnesota began weighing a blanket ban on PFAS in consumer products. This is the most aggressive legislation that had ever been considered by any government body anywhere. And not only just to restrict PFAS, but to restrict chemicals in general. People were not necessarily optimistic that it would pass. But then a young woman named Amara Strande began showing up and testifying. And I'd like to show a video of Amara speaking, if we could, please.
My name is Amara Strande, and at the age of 15, I was diagnosed with stage 4 fibrolamellar hepatocellular carcinoma, an incredibly rare form of liver cancer. My life is a product of toxins. I was exposed to these harmful chemicals through no fault of my own, and as a result, I will die with this cancer.
So I should note that Minnesota is home to 3M, which is the world's largest manufacturer of PFAS, and that Amara Strande grew up on the largest plume of PFAS drinking water contamination in the world, and that the high school she attends, Tartan High School, an extraordinarily large number of students there have developed cancer. So unfortunately, Amara didn't live to see the outcome of her advocacy. She died just shy of her 21st birthday. But a few weeks later, Minnesota passed the most aggressive PFAS legislation in the world. And that they named it Amara's Law. So a tribute to how her advocacy shaped this legislation. This is a sea change. And that speaks to the bipartisan nature of this issue.